Did you ever just wish that you were Harry Potter and just could run through that wall on platform 9 3/4 and be in another world where you had magic that was active and you could change anything any way that you wanted?
Wait, what? We can't do that now?
We can.
Come on now.
But we need to understand what that means in this reality.
True.
So today we are diving into the magician archetype and how to harness that inner magician to become your own Harry Potter.
Okay.
So, what is the magician? The magician archetype is the part of you, the aspect of you that knows who you truly are at your essence, who knows that you can change, you can alchemize anything in this world, but you have to do it from inside to change the outside. That's your alchemist. That's your magician.
Yeah, it's kind of like it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with the warrior,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about within. The magician has the capability of wearing that lens of perspective in every single possible way. Like they look at things in such a crazy way that it makes sense and it doesn't at the same time. It's pretty cool.
It is because they have to understand all the different worlds, and all of these archetypes that we've been talking about in this series. If you want the warrior one, actually, we'll link it above, so you can go check that out. But all these different archetypes are just different aspects of ourselves. Because I see a lot of people like, I'm the magician, I'm the rebel, and fully embracing that, and that's awesome. But really, for everything to work inside of us is really embracing and harnessing all of those different aspects and having them work together, like as your own like inner united team.
Right. I know that we have them all within us. The does one seem to come out more for some people than others?
Yeah, people are predominantly, 1 to 3 ish that take like front
Like they're the
seats that are the drivers of the bus
yeah.
per se. But they're all on the bus. And I think some of us just like if we're very warrior or like I'm very magician, we tend to just fall back on that all the time, which is fine as long as we're remembering the other parts of ourselves. So if you're struggling and something's not quite working for you, it might be because you need to employ the magician if you're not primarily in it, or some of these others, and have them all work together.
I noticed there was a lot of attributes that were very, very similar, which was really, really cool to kind of put together because like, oh, I remember doing this. Oh yeah, I remember doing that. So they're definitely there. That's for sure.
Because working with all the archetypes, they really ask you to step up and to do the work around that particular theme, really. The magician is a theme. So it's how do you look out into this world, look at the reality of what is around you or what is perceived as reality, understanding that this is all a game that feels real. So I can change and I can shift things, but I know I need to do it energetically and I need to do it internally. So, what out here do I need to shift? Now, let me go inside and let's see where I sit right now. Let's see what program I have running. Let's see what beliefs I have running. And okay, how can I look at those different? How can I shift them? If you're not sure, this is when you go out. You find another magician if that's what you're working on, another warrior to maybe talk to, communicate with, listen to podcasts like this, or you start reading.
Right.
Alchemy, I see people commonly want to do it with relationships. How do I manifest my relationship, money, and jobs? Those are usually the three big ones.
Yeah, and when you're deploying the magician within you, I think that the fact that you can be able to look at all perspectives on those thoughts, although there are a lot of things that might be going on in your life that is like, fuck it, listen, Wolf, I'm going through some shit, and I can't think of it as a game. Entertain it for just a minute, okay? Because that puts you in the ability of stepping out of where you are. You're able to see the entire picture. You're able to have different perspective on set picture, and then you're able to maneuver from a very powerful place. Now imagine if you do that with life. Okay, it sucks, yeah, I get it and all that stuff, but imagine in that moment you're stepping back, you're adding joy, you're putting yourself in a very balanced place. Now you can handle it. And that's what the magician archetype has the ability to do. So when you're in that space, deploy the magician within you. because that gives you that kind of energy.
Right. And when you hit that struggle, that's when the magician is really calling you to step into simplicity. When you play a game like, say, you're playing Monopoly, that's the best because Monopoly can go on frickin' forever, and life feels like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you're playing Monopoly and you land on somebody's like park place and they have like a hotel, it doesn't feel good. But and you might get tragic for a moment, but you're playing a game and you know that. You know the rules, you keep it simple. So how can you go back to simple things in you? Just alchemy is also creation and creativity. So where do you feel creative? Do you like to make music? Do you like to maybe knit something? Do you like to draw? Like, what is creative to you? Just listening to music, writing, anything.
Yeah.
How do you step into those simple creative things in this game so that you're like, you're landing on that railroad that you can buy and feeling like you're getting ahead for a few minutes until you land on, I have to go to jail. And it's just like that. It's ups and downs, and the magician helps you ride that flow. Also, the magician is really into more of the esoterical, the spiritual aspects of things. So if the magician goes deep into that energy too far, you can see that they'll get kind of like cut off from society and just like deep into their ritual and their magic type of things, and they don't want to deal with the outside world anymore. Or it can feel very like overwhelming, like I don't understand anything, I don't understand all the laws of the universe, I can't see energy sometimes, so I can't understand how it's actually working and flowing, so how am I supposed to utilize all of that? I don't know what I'm programmed with, so how am I, you get into all these hows. And this is the thing with the magician, is you don't need to understand. The deeper that you go into magic and into yourself, it's not an understanding. I have somebody that I follow that likes to call it inner standing. You're just getting more and more at peace with yourself, and the more you learn, the less you know. It sounds totally counterintuitive, but if you're getting more confused, the deeper you're getting into yourself and your spirituality, you're doing it right.
Yeah. I mean, because the bottom line is, like we've said this before, you have everything that you need within you. And when you take the time to tap into those parts of you, you're not in the how and whys. You're in the, okay, let me do this.
Yep.
Because you have the ability to go forward in that way. So this is where really stepping back in any situation that you're going through and tapping into the warrior, the magician, and all the other ones that we're going to be talking about, it brings forth a lot of that knowing. And that's where we really want to work from. Life happens. We get that. That's the experience we're embarked on. Exactly. So imagine, like in that game of life, you take out your wand and you create this, and then you create that, and if that doesn't work, then you take it out of the game. The thing here, I think, is that we have the power to create and change whatever the fuck we want. And when we are sitting in the place of like, this is happening to me versus I'm creating it, there's a big difference. And we create the shit that happens in our world, really based on whether we make choices or we don't, we're still doing it. So be actively participating in a very positive way, and tap into all those archetypes within you. I think that will get us to a really awesome place.
Right. I mean, the magician asks you to believe in stuff that you can't see, and stuff that hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah.
The magician is asking you really to deeply trust and have faith. But at the same time, yes, you have to actively participate.
Yeah.
You have to shift the feelings, shift the thoughts. You have to understand that the magician is fully stepping into co-creation. And this is between the energy of the world, between the universe and you. So Are your thoughts aligned with what you're trying to create? Are your feelings, your emotions, your energy, is it all vibrating at where you want to be? And if you're not sure how to do that, you get somebody and you start learning, and you start working with somebody else. Find somebody else who has that thing that you want, and work on learning about that and how does that work for yourself.
Yeah. Get
So
super curious.
yeah, it's a lot about security. Security. It does.
Security, yeah.
It does create security.
Yeah.
It might feel the warrior creates more security, but the magician really gives you control over what it is that you want to secure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's jump into some. We have a few things. We have 10 different things of how the magician can work in your life.
So we're going to go through them as quickly as possible.
Exactly, because we know you have a lot to do and a lot to get out there and create. So the first one is the Master of Transformation. This is how you are wielding those forces that are all around you, using the energy, using the power of, like, we're all one. So you're never feeling or working on something by yourself. Even if you're physically alone, there's other people working on getting into a more loving vibration, manifesting more abundance, getting deeper into understanding how this world actually works and how to harness that.
Right, right. I mean, if you can envision yourself being a shapeshifter where you can turn whatever it is that you're looking for into reality, because that's what you're capable of doing.
Right. And every obstacle, purely a stepping stone, because that's how you get to learn more about yourself, figure out how things work best for you, going around, through, turning around, going the other way. All the different options and choices, opportunities are the same as obstacles, in a magician's opinion. The second one is the synchronicity maestro. This is where you're like conducting your orchestra of life. The violins are over here as one aspect of you, and the I don't even know what else.
It makes you question the fabric of life. When you're in that space,
What she said.
it really does. Question everything, because listen, this is again, it's a game, but a game that we have full control over. So when you can question everything and, like, is this reality for me? You know what I'm saying? So just think of it that way.
And it's also paying attention to synchronicity. So all those little, like, breadcrumbs, those spiritual breadcrumbs, like, that certain line in a song that you're like, oh my God, that exactly explains how I've been feeling. Or you ask for something and then, there it is when you go into the next place, just right in front of you. Or even the parking spot that you've manifested. It could be simple little things like that to show that you're vibrating in an alignment with what you need to be in.
I like the part where it says, the magician orchestrates those synchronicities like a cosmic DJ, weaving connections that defy logic and explanation. I thought that was awesome.
Mind you, she wrote it, but that's okay. You're supposed to think what you create is awesome. So I love that. That's a perfect example. The third one is the flow state aficionado. I love flow state. I will do just about anything to get into flow state except for cold plunge. I've done it, but I don't like it. Flow, that brings you really in present moment. So yeah, totally in flow. I mean, you can get into flow so many different ways, and it depends on how it works for you. I know music is one of your main ways. I can get into it. Being out in nature is really easy for me.
It's funny because I never look at listening to music as being in flow state, but I guess it is. I always think that I have a difficult time getting into the flow of things. And that's not necessarily true.
That is not true. And see, this is a good awareness of a magician looks at patterns and realizes and recognizes stuff that they just have decided is true for them, and it is totally not.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you get a lot done when you're listening to music, or you totally relax and can create well when you're listening to music.
True.
It balances you, it grounds you, but it also lifts you up and moves you into higher vibrations.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, music is totally your gateway.
Yeah. Moving forward, that's how I'm going to look at it.
Excellent.
I'm in flow state.
That's alchemy. All right. Curiosity unleashed. Be curious about everything.
Everything.
Why
And
do I
mean
think
everything.
that way? Why did I just respond that way? Why do I feel this way? Why do I think that about this person? Why do I think that about myself?
Yeah.
Why did I just say that to myself? That wasn't very nice. Come on, self, we can do better. Like, this is how you start catching. Like, how are you speaking to yourself? How are you speaking to the world?
Yeah.
How are you viewing it? And how can you shift that? Once you start shifting those things, it just piles up and eventually creates an avalanche that just starts shifting the landscape around you. This is the architect of your reality. So we all come into this place with a soul blueprint, with how we want to live this life, why we're here, what our soul's mission is. If you don't know how to tap into that, the Akashic Records is a perfect place. We'll tag the Akashic Records video that we did above. Perfect place for you to go to start asking those questions and finding that out if you don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, then you're the architect of that. You're down here like with your blueprint building around whatever your mission is to be on this planet. Whatever is your inspiration, whatever lights you up. And it can be anything. It's different for every single one of us. That's why we're not giving too many examples, because the point of the magician and all these other archetypes is you diving into you and figuring that out.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6 is the guardian of mysteries. So we touched on this a little bit, where you understand the esoteric principles of this world, the universal laws. And if you don't know them, start learning them. Maybe we should do a podcast on universal laws.
Yeah.
That would probably be good, because we get that question a lot.
And there's a ton of them.
Right. We'll just do like the top 5 that we most commonly work with. We'll get that out to you in the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you are exploring the hidden realms of your consciousness. Like, what are the unconscious things? Like we talked about programs and that type of thing. Getting into the Akashic Records and the whole universal energy, and what are all the little tidbits of information and beauty and love and awesome vibrations that we can learn from, match, and harness to create what we want here.
And it's always all around us. So it's, because it's a part of us. So, taking the time to really tap into them is a highly something we recommend, because it really unlocks a lot of our shit. If you really think about it, like all the, like you said, the patterns, the instilled beliefs, all those things, and it really gets you into the nitty gritty of things, like what really truly makes me tick, what truly gets me upset, what truly makes me happy, what truly, insert whatever you need to. And again, because you're deploying curiosity on top of that, then you're able to maneuver around all the things that you should really be looking at. That's the fundamental thing here.
Absolutely.
And when you tap into your knowing, whew, yeah, that's a good place.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
All right. 7 is the intuitive navigator. This is where your soul is your compass, your guiding place in space. This is why we call this soul intentions, because what are your intentions that you came down here to live? And your soul is actually the keeper of all that information. So your soul, your gut will tell you, yay or nay, if this is good for you or not.
And how many of us are using our soul compass? Really? Do we use it all the time?
On a regular basis.
Like, I believe that a lot of us don't. I mean, I know that I didn't for a good long time. Mm-hmm. And when I started using it, it made life so much easier. So really, look, again, we are equipped with all the information and all the tools that we need to get through all of this. So really getting to know your soul compass is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you'll know if you, like, I used to walk around functioning from logic most of the time. And then I got more into morals, and I would use logic and morals. And a lot of people just bumble through, like, this is what I have to do each day, and I'm just getting by, and it's very routine and very boring and
right. And
uncreative, not magician-y.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't trust their intuition, and, stop it. Really, just stop it.
It's like a muscle you
should
build.
you should trust your intuition. You should trust your gut. That's their job, to alert you. And when it's happening, and we all know when it's happening, we get this feeling somewhere in our body that's telling us, I need to pause, I need to do something. Listen to that.
Exactly. So how can you practice that, build that muscle, and build that trust within yourself? Next is the manifestation maven.
Let's manifest the shit out of everything, man.
We
Really?
are not here to play small.
No.
And a lot of these programs we're talking about you have are things that you're just used to, or you've been trained to play small, to not take up space, to not manifest what you want, to just go with whatever already has been built here and participate in it to build things for other people. That is not your mission on this planet. Tap into that, what do I want to manifest? And then start taking steps towards it using your inner magician.
Right. And lose the I can't. Really. Because you can. If you believe that you can, you can. And it's all mindset when it comes right down to it. So
9 is the balance keeper. Now, I like this because I feel like the magician side of me helps balance the logical reality side of me. Because I can get very like, well, this is what's black and white in front of me. And magic is really gray. Because magic is everything in between. So it gives me a good foot into both worlds. That just has served me really, really well.
we're all capable of a lot of things, good and bad, light and dark. That's just the reality. Don't be afraid of it. Get curious, explore it, see where that middle ground is for you versus not going to go there. Because the minute you start doing I'm not going to go there, then you're resisting a part of you that might need to come forth in certain situations.
Exactly.
And when you don't have the accessibility for it, when you get yourself in that predicament, you won't know what the fuck to do. You will need that darker side of you to be able to maneuver this particular aspect in your life. The same thing with the light. So don't be afraid of it. Use it. Utilize it.
That's beautiful. All right, and the last one is the emissary of oneness. This is because the magician understands this whole interconnected web on this planet, that everything is energy and we are all one. I used to go to this amazing thing where we had a maypole and you had the strings off of it, and everybody would bring big things of yarn and we would just weave them, and you would talk to people and weave around their strands and go through the whole thing. And it was this whole beautiful thing about how all of our energies can intertwine to create this real freaking beautiful, amazing, I can't even express how awesome it felt and how fun it was to do. And we used to do that every year, and I miss that. I miss that.
So imagine doing something like that in a more cosmic way, because that's what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Where we're all intertwined in some way, shape, or form, where we're all one, we're all connected in some level. What you may do right now may affect somebody that you don't even fucking know, that's across the country.
Right.
So, but it's the web in which we all live in. And we need to be really conscious on how we interact with each other. And this is one of the things that I'm always talking about, being kind. We were just out and somebody was just on their horn. It's like, wow. It's like you have to like really deploy that kindness, because as human beings, we're very reactive, and you want to do something else.
You want to react back.
So you can't, take something like that and then amplify it with all your shit. So it's like, know that we're one, know that we need to be kind, and we need to play well together.
Right. So like, take a look at your day to day. Are you fostering a sense of unity at all whatsoever? Or are you just going through the motions and getting through? You don't know if you like throw your change in the little bucket next to the register that, you might be helping somebody who, can't afford to feed their kid. You have
Right.
no idea. So where are you dropping little bits of kindness, or I mean, even just staying in your center when somebody else isn't in theirs is helpful to help shore up that entire web of all of us.
Right.
So that is the magician. We invite everyone to please take a breath. Take a breath with us right now. Here we go. And remember who the fuck you are.
Be kind.
Peace.
Peace.